leap of faith.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me I'm off Olympus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Film Optix, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and everything pop culture related. I am your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin. And today we are going to be reviewing the latest film in the Fast and Furious franchise, Fast 9, the Fast Saga. Devin, how are you today, man? We had a little bit of a scheduling conflict throughout the weekend, but we're here. We're ready to talk some new Vin Diesel.
Just like the movie, we're a little late and old and
drawn out
times. Yeah.
Washed up. Is our podcast that washed up already? We've only been doing this for 2 years. So, but yeah, I totally agree there. But before we begin today's show, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. And if you're a new or seasoned listener here on the show, we'd love to hear from you guys over on social media. So follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. And also, before we begin today's show, I actually just tweeted this out on my personal Twitter account over at Music City Nerd. We're going to be doing a giveaway, a digital code giveaway. Give you guys a little incentive to leave a 5-star rating and review and to follow us on podcast platforms around the world. You know, it's very, very devious, but it starts today. The winner will be chosen on July 5th, the day after Independence Day. The winner will receive a Batman animated series, the complete series digital code for the streaming or the video on demand platform of their choice. I think that's how you would say it, because I bought it during Amazon Prime Day, and I was like, you know what? I feel very giving. You know, I thank you to our listeners out there. So definitely go find the post over at Music City Nerd. That is my personal Twitter handle. So at Music City Nerd, go ahead and find that out. Just wanted to plug that in there really quick. And instructions for if you're on Apple. If you listen to your podcast like on an iPhone or an Android, are listed in the thread as well. I think Podchaser is like the number one for Android right now from what I've seen. So I linked for Podchaser to leave us a rating review. Same thing with Apple Podcasts, because some people just don't know. So I kind of just wanted to throw that out there really quick. But let's just dive straight into our Fast 9, our Fast 9 review, I guess. So once you hear this bad boy, that means we're going to get into spoilers. As of right now, I don't have like a little segue into it, but as of right now, we're going to kind of give our first thoughts about the movie. Devin, you saw it Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
So So I'll give mine last this time. I usually have Devin go first just so I can kind of prepare people, but actually no, I'll share my experience first really quick. So, I recorded a podcast, for Critics Play Games with Zach on Friday, went to my first showing number 1 of Fast 9. And, I fell asleep like halfway through. Not because it was boring, just because I was dog tired throughout the day, came from work, was doing a lot of things around the house, recording a podcast, and then jumping on, hey, I can make the next showing for Fast 9. I remember bits and pieces, but I went back the next day after woke up, got everything ready, went back and sat there, watched the whole thing. And, I was actually kind of underwhelmed. I'm not a big fan of the Fast 9 or just the Fast Saga in general. There's like 3 of them that I like. I honestly think the franchise should end it with 7. It's overstaying its welcome completely. I didn't really enjoy this one all that much. I mean, there's action scenes and whatnot, but It's just something was missing, and I think it's Jason Statham in The Rock, to be completely honest. And I didn't feel like a lot of the jokes, the script really landed for me. Like there were a lot of like pop culture references in there for like Star Wars and Harry Potter, but it just wasn't funny, and I couldn't take it seriously. And I feel like at this point, they've become too self-aware of what they are and what kind of franchise this is. But Devin, go ahead. Give us your thoughts on Fast 9.
Oh boy, let me tell you. I came into this movie hearing bad things left and right. People were not enjoying it. So I think people were seeing it Monday, the week it came out, or Tuesday. They were seeing it early. So I came in with pretty low expectations. And it somehow was worse than that. I don't know how they pulled it off, but it's just rough. Like, there's just so much going on, and none of it really works.
Yeah,
they're basically a cartoon at this point. Like the action scenes they try to pull off, none of it looks cool. It all looks, the CGI is like weird and not natural. Obviously, like, none of it makes any sense, which you come to expect, but they just keep pushing it, and they're going like a little too far with the unbelievability of it all.
Yeah.
And they thought John Cena was the answer here. Not at all. I hate John Cena as a serious actor. Like if you give him a comedic role, he can do that pretty fine. But when he tries to be serious and like an actual like serious character, it just does not work. I hated him in Bumblebee too. He was awful.
Yeah. Oh my God. I forgot he was in Bumblebee. And that is the biggest part of this movie. And we'll of course get into that when we reach the spoiler section. But yeah, his role was just, it was like replacing one like, wrestler turned actor to another. And it just didn't work with John Cena.
It's much worse.
Yeah. It got way, way worse. And and the thing that really kind of like, and like, as you, I heard a lot of bad things going into this because Leo saw it a few days before it released. You know, he got an advanced screening. He was super, super pumped about it. Like, he knows how ridiculous it is, but it's just, he was let down. Like, there's literally a picture of him on Twitter where he was just like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Like, he said it was just a big letdown. And when I went to go see it the first time, I wasn't really all that interested. And then, you know, the second time, my second viewing, I was like, yeah, I can kind of see why people don't like this. And it's just John Cena's performance is so stiff. Vin Diesel, even himself, isn't really doing anything in this movie. And I feel like even with Ludacris and Tyrese's characters, it's like, I mean, it just, like, yeah, like they are like the comical relief, but like their jokes just didn't land. Like it was just, they were just like spewing like stereotypical, like stereotypical lines that like a black person would say in like the early 2000s in like a movie. Cause like when they're essentially there for like comic relief, and, you know, we'll get into Tyrese's, his awareness, his wokeness within these movies, in the spoiler section. But yeah, I do agree with that. Vin Diesel himself, like, I think he kind of, what did he say before? Like, while the movie came out, he said that he had to give the Rock some acting lessons. Did you see that?
Yeah. They don't get along, and I don't understand why. I think because Vin Diesel is like shorter than The Rock, and he's got like a short man complex.
Yeah. I mean, like he's you know, he's fit, he's there, but no. I was like, you gave The Rock some tough love, you gave The Rock some acting chops. It's like, I rather have seen The Rock in this movie besides Dead before Vin Diesel, for sure. But yeah, that's just, this is how it is, you know. But yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts. But I don't know, man. It was so disappointing. Like, are you a big Fast like fan?
I mean, I have seen them all, so I guess you can consider myself a fan. I'm not like a diehard fan like
Are you more of an
And the
observer?
theater I was in, those are some diehard fans. Like, I kind
Really?
of respect it.
How
because
was your audience?
They were laughing at every single joke.
Yep, that's how
I don't
mine
know
was.
how. Me and my dad were just looking at each other like during these awful jokes, and the crowd's just erupting. We're just like, "What is happening?"
That is literally what happened to me. Like, there was like 3 or 4 people next to me, and anytime Ludacris or Tyrese said something, they just busted out laughing. I'm like, guys, it is not that funny. It's
I mean, it's like good for them, I guess. Like, good for the movie. They have a great fan base that's very, very, very loyal after
unfortunately
almost 20 years.
Yeah,
and good for them. I guess they enjoyed it, but
yeah, I mean, and there's talks about. I think Vin Diesel is saying that Fast 10 is supposed to be a 2-parter.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, now like if you're just gonna do 10 and 11, that's fine, be done. But you're just stretching it out at this point. Like, you might as well just say there's going to be a 12. Why are you making a 2-parter for Fast 10? I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing that. That, like, mark my words. Like, I'm not seeing Fast 10 if it's a 2-parter. Like, there's just no way. But it's killing in the box office as well, which really, how much has it made so far? I'm trying to figure out
I think worldwide it was like 500 million.
It's insane, dude. Like, I just don't understand. So 6 hours ago on Hollywood Reporter, F9 sped up to $70 million US opening. Wow. Yeah. Because it came out internationally first, right?
It came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
internationally.
Yeah, so it looks like overseas, where Justin Lin directed, the movie opens. F9 has earned $335 million for global, total of $405 million through Sunday. The movie cost at least $225 million to produce, and apparently should have no trouble clearing the $600 million mark or more, because considering it has its many major markets in which to open has only just begun.
I mean, I guess we can try to spin this in a good way. It's good for the theaters. They're getting business.
See, I wanted to ask you about that. So I see a lot of people on Twitter like, "Oh, the theaters are back. Theaters are back." They're seeing these super high numbers for Fast 9. Can you definitively say that theaters are back as of this release of Fast 9?
I mean, when at the showing I went to, seeing all those people and everyone like in the actual theater, it definitely seems like it's back.
Okay, so I want to say yes, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to say no, but I want to say yes, but I'm leaning more towards no, because this is, I mean, if you really think about it, this is really just like the beginning of like the summer blockbuster. Like, yeah, like we had Luca and we have In the Heights, but like we still have Black Widow. We have Space Jam and the Green Knight. There's like so many movies coming out in July. I feel like
it's just the numbers don't lie.
I mean yeah.
Especially compared to what movies we're getting this year. And for this to get 70 million the first weekend.
But like, are theaters back, like, for real though?
What,
like,
I mean, what else? It's the numbers. Like, what do you can't really debate against it.
For one movie though, I would never just say, "Oh my God, like theaters are back," after one movie had a good weekend. This, I mean, it's a franchise movie, obviously.
Yeah, it's a big summer blockbuster. That's what you expect.
I guess I'm waiting until after the summer blockbuster, like part hits, like after, once we get into like fall releases, to see if theaters are really back, because like this is just one movie. I just don't want to be reactionary to it, because people said the same thing about not The Last of Us. I always do that. A Quiet Place Part 2. They always say the same thing when they're saying, "Oh, theaters are back." And now, like when Fast 9 comes out, it's like, "Oh no, now theaters are back."
That's two right there.
I mean, but
it's starting a pattern.
But okay,
we're back.
Quiet Place Part 2 is not summer. That came out in the spring.
It doesn't have to be summer. It's just two movies did well.
I have to reserve judgment until like the end of the summer to really look at the hard data because there's so many other movies coming out. I'm not saying, I don't know, dude. It's just, that's just my innate. Like, I like to look at like a longer period instead of just like, oh, well, movies are back, you know, like this one movie made X amount of dollars, knowing that we have so many more. I think it's safe to say that, you know, hopefully the rest of these films will start to reach that, but we won't know until later on. So I like to kind of let it run its course first and then take a look back and look at the hard numbers instead of just going off one movie. You know what I mean? I don't know. But that's just my 2 cents on it. But anyway, let's dive straight into our spoiler review.
Oh boy.
Oh, so yes, now we are in the spoiler section of Fast 9.
Those flashback scenes are some of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And yeah, so if you haven't seen it by now, you know, turn back before we get any farther. Again, that is your second spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie yet, turn back, come back once you're done, listen to the rest, and let us know your thoughts on Twitter. But yes, the starting off, I guess, with the flashback scenes, that was very.
The actors looked nothing like.
But they
like
did a pretty
Vin
good job
Diesel.
though. Like as like the younger selves, I thought they did.
I mean, the actors are fine. It's just they don't look anything like Vin Diesel or John Cena,
No.
like at all.
Okay.
Like shockingly different.
Can we please talk about how are we supposed to believe that John Cena is Dom Toretto's brother, Jakob?
Yeah.
with
First
a K.
of all, they don't look alike at all as siblings.
No, and they spelled Jacob with a K for John Cena's character. And I was
Also, in the flashbacks, they had Vin Diesel's younger self like taller than John Cena's younger self, and then in the actual movie, John Cena's taller.
growth spurts, bro.
Yeah,
That's all it is. Puberty. But it is weird though. That is,
and that was probably like a half hour out of the movie was the flashbacks,
dude,
like
I
a
know.
good amount.
Yeah, I mean the runtime for this is around 2 hours and 25 minutes, so it's like that's at least 30 minutes of the movie is flashbacks, and I just didn't really care about it. It didn't really serve anything to the story, and I mean, like I guess it gave you a little bit more of a like flashback, but I feel like that would have been better if it was sprinkled out. Like,
And also, what was the point of any of it? Without they didn't even have Mia part of it, the sister. Like, where was she this whole time?
Exactly.
And then they bring her back for the movie. It's like, sure, but where was she? Why is she here?
She was there to kind of just like, oh, you know, all the Torettos are here, and out of nowhere, Dom just magically has a brother. You get 9 movies into a franchise, no mention of him whatsoever, and it just happens. I mean, I get it. Sometimes, you know, you don't tell everyone everything, but like this seems like a pretty tight knit group of people. But I mean, it looked like Michelle Rodriguez's character knew about it. It kind of just like off screen, just knew, but didn't really say anything. So I guess she was like one person, obviously with Dom's sister as well. But it just wasn't believable. I know a lot of people were having issues with the whole like, I guess race swapping-esque. They were saying, oh, you know, well, the Torettos, you know, they have mixed blood. You know, they kind of address that in the film itself to kind of, you know, address the why does John Cena look nothing like Vin Diesel. But I don't know. It's strange stuff, but
yeah. And then like the action scenes, like it's like you have Tyrese Gibson's character making fun of being self-aware for surviving everything.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens in these movies. Nobody ever dies somehow. They all just survive. And it's like, it's okay to be self-aware, but just making a joke about it over and over again doesn't make it any better that you're just surviving these crazy situations. And
yeah.
None of it makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't like that. Like at first I'm like, okay, they're kind of addressing it, but like, it's like you said, it's too self-aware, and
addressing it isn't a fix. Like you're just making a joke for the movie. It's not a fix for how unbelievable it is.
Yeah.
and I can't, and everyone expects that in a Fast and Furious movie. Of course, it's going to be gravity defying. It's not going to make sense, but it's just going too far.
Yeah, like actually addressing it's like, oh, have you ever wondered why, you know, X, Y, and Z? It's like I'd rather them just like go with it and just not say anything, just because they obviously know. And I feel like part of me is like, okay, are these characters even real at this point? Or are they just like, you know, someone's toys or whatever in a kid's bedroom or something like that? I really don't know. I mean, that's a really lame way to look at it, but it's just, I just didn't like it all that much. And then, what else? We had, how did you feel about Han returning? Like, that came out of left field.
I mean, it's cool. They really shoehorned his fake death in there.
But like
to try to make it make sense.
But like, what was the point of bringing him back? Because Nina,
fan favorite.
Wait, what?
They just wanted to bring back a fan favorite.
I mean, like, I get it, but it's like, dude, he blew up in that car. Like, that dude was dead in the water.
What did you think about them forcing a Tokyo Drift sequel into this movie? Basically,
oh, with
they
the
brought back Bow
scene?
Wow.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like,
Bow Wow got thick.
he's a stubby man. I honestly totally forgot about Bow Wow because they threw them in there, and I was like, why is everyone just here? Are people just here because it's here? Because it's titled the Fast 9 Fast Saga. So is this the end of one saga and they're starting a new one? Because you stayed for the post-credit scene, right?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
Got out of there.
Okay. Well, so the first time I didn't know there was one. Second time I was told that there was one, and it shows Jason Statham. He's boxing, and then Han like knocks on his door. He like opens it, and then you know Jason Statham sees Han, and then it just kind of like cuts to black, and that's it.
I mean, yeah, we both enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw, so
I did. I actually did enjoy that.
Unless they get The Rock to come back too, it's kind of like it's not going to be much of a fix.
Can we just take out Vin Diesel though? Like, I mean,
that's the big issue. That's the big difference between Hobbs and Shaw and this is the two leads are just so much more charismatic and entertaining. The Rock and Jason Statham are just better than Vin Diesel and John Cena.
Yeah,
like they just aren't like charismatic.
They're not, no.
And they're not funny at all.
Not especially, I mean, Vin Diesel now.
And Hobbs and Shaw leaned way more into the humor than this did.
And we got some pretty like amazing cameos too.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch that, man. Oh my gosh. I almost lost it. We saw Ryan Reynolds and freaking oh my gosh, Kevin Hart. I was like, where did you guys come from? I do agree there, man. It really just sucks that like, I mean, when was the last Fast movie they were in together? Well, quote unquote together.
Who?
Vin Diesel and The Rock. Was it Fast 8 or is it Fast 7?
I don't know. I just know the first one was Fast 5 that they were in together.
Yeah. I remember that one. I did. Did you rewatch any of the Fast movies prior to watching this? No, I didn't either. I don't own them. I thought about buying. There was like a Blu-ray box set during Prime Day that they were doing, and I was like, oh well, maybe. And I was like, no, I just can't. It was not even for like the non 4K. I would have gone non 4K, Devin, just to get them. But I was like, I just can't. Like, I'll probably just buy the ones that I enjoy watching, which would be like Tokyo Drift, the first one, the very first one, and then Fast 5, and then maybe Fast 7. Like that's
yeah, 7's definitely just because.
Yeah.
Our boy.
Yeah.
That's another thing. They keep teasing that Brian is still alive in the universe for some reason.
Yeah, like towards the end.
Why are they keeping him alive?
I don't know, dude.
Does not feel right.
Because that was supposed to be Brian who pulled up to the
yeah. And they also said that he was babysitting the kids. Why?
It's just, and here's the thing. between this and like comic book movies, like everyone knows in comic book movies, no one's ever really gone. But like this is, I mean, if someone's dead, like they should probably stay dead. Or it's like every villain in a Fast and Furious movie like turns good at the end. Like, of course, Jacob, you know, like they let Jacob go because he gets screwed over by Otto and Cipher.
Oh yeah, I forgot how awful that new villain was.
Dude, oh my gosh. That Star Wars reference.
They made like 5 Star Wars references, and I'm convinced it's because this is Universal and they were trying to make fun of Disney.
Yeah. And they had that Harry Potter joke in there too. And like, it's not even
Which
clever.
makes sense because that's Universal. But.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not even, well, Harry Potter.
And then they made a Minions joke too.
Yeah. I mean, well, Harry Potter world is Universal, but I don't know if the film rights are with Universal now or Warner Brothers. I think they're still with Warner Brothers, or excuse me, Warner Brothers Discovery, whatever the heck it's called now. But yeah, I didn't like it. Well, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
They also made a Minions joke. That was awful.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really, really bad. Sorry, I went off on a little tangent there. Yeah, because Ludacris and Tyrese are up in space. Well, what did you think of that whole, like, do you feel like they needed to go to space, or like they just went there?
They just did it for the gimmick.
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh,
it didn't add anything to the movie.
No, it didn't. Not at all. And and no one died, obviously, and they were obviously easily rescued, and that was just it. Like, they made such a big fuss about like not returning back to Earth, or even making it to orbit. And I guess the spacesuits that they wore worked. I mean, I guess duct tape.
With duct tape.
This is so dumb, dude.
I will say I'm happy for Charlize Theron, Kurt Russell, and Helen Mirren, because this is probably the easiest paycheck they'll ever get. All three of them had like such small roles. They probably got paid millions for it.
Especially Charlize Theron, dude. Like,
yeah, she just got to sit in one room for probably a day and did all her lines.
Yeah, she probably
didn't have to go anywhere.
She probably flew in for like 2 to 3 days of shooting, and that was it. Then, like, and she's all over the marketing. She's everywhere, even on the posters. And I was like, what is going on here? This doesn't make any sense. But I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, Otto was really, really bad when he made that stupid Star Wars thing. He's like, first he said he was Luke Skywalker. He's like, no, I'm Han Solo. And then what did Cipher say? Like, no, you're Yoda, because Yoda has a hand up his, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying not to cuss on the show as much anymore. But, yeah, it was just so bad, dude. But I guess, we've talked so much about like the negatives. Were there any positives that you actually enjoy from this film? What's up?
Let me think.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead while you think on yours. So,
we forgot to mention Cardi B is now in the Fast universe.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Like, why? Like, again, an easy paycheck. She probably had to be there for a day. She was in one super small scene, and that was it. Like,
it made sense for her to be in Hustlers, but to throw her in this, it's just like so random.
She's becoming the new MGK of the Universal.
Well, MGK is at least like he at least acts like he's
but
kind of a legitimate actor.
Yeah, but like he just randomly pops up in like all these it's always Netflix movies too. I'm like, what are you doing here, MGK? I guess he's an actor, but not really. But yeah, I mean, like, I didn't mind. Like, I mean, it's Cardi B, but like, yeah, like, why does she need to be in this movie? At least she wasn't like paraded around like, oh, Cardi B's in the movie. Like, I guess it was a nice little quote unquote surprise cameo, if you want to call it.
I did like the London parts with Helen Mirren. Those were cool.
Yeah, I like that
too. The fight between Dom and his brother was awful.
Yeah.
That fight in the mansion was like a minute long and they didn't do anything.
Dude, how does Vin Diesel hold back like 30 people when he was like, and they were in like kind of like that sewer area? I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was dumb.
This is just getting super ridiculous. And then
I liked Han and his not daughter, but like that new character they added that he kind of took under his wing.
His Ellie.
I did like her. She seemed cool.
Yeah, she did. She was
Ramsey,
Sorry.
The actress who played Ramsey was also pretty cool, except for when she didn't know how to drive.
Oh yeah. Missandei from Game of Thrones. Her name is oh my gosh,
Natalie Emmanuel.
Natalie Emmanuel. Yeah, I've always liked her as an actress. She's been popping up in things here and there. I did think, I thought it was kind of funny that she doesn't know how to drive. Like I said, I haven't really been following this franchise all that much. Is she in any of the other like recent like Fast like?
I know she was. I just don't know which one.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say it seemed like she knew everyone. So I was like, oh, okay. So I guess that's just a running joke or something that, she can't drive. But I did think that was kind of funny where she was kind of like freaking out. But yeah, I mean, like some of the action scenes, like the chase, all the chasing car scenes are always super ridiculous, but they are very entertaining to watch. So that's one thing.
I did like the magnets. The magnets were really cool.
Yeah,
what they were able
sweet
to do with those.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was, but I mean, the story itself, I just did not care for at all. I mean, it's unfortunate. Like, I mean, they pushed this movie back out an entire year, and it's like, this is what people were, hyping up and waiting for. I mean, if you're a casual moviegoer, like I will say this, even though it sounds obviously we weren't too crazy about the movie, if you're like a casual moviegoer, like definitely I would recommend people to go see this just because it is something fun to see with the family. It is ridiculous. It's over the top. It's self-aware, maybe too self-aware, but I would definitely recommend going to see it. But honestly, I'd recommend people to go see In the Heights more so than Fast 9. That is one movie that if you're going to go to the theaters, go see In the Heights first and then watch Fast 9 later on when, like, I don't know, there's nothing else out there to watch. But
I mean, you got to give credit to the fans, I guess, because they love it.
I mean, they make it happen. I mean, it's even like this movie was very. I can't call it generic because it is Fast and Furious, and like I feel like if this was like an anime, it would be way more interesting. But it's just a little too ridiculous for me. Like I said, if Fast 10 is 2 parts, God willing, we're still, keeping the dream alive with the podcast. I'm sure we will, but you might have to see this one without me, man.
Give me a Hobbs and Shaw 2. We'll be there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's just. Whew, man. Yeah, there weren't too. I mean, the Easter eggs were kind of nice. Han's return didn't really make any sense to me at all. It's like you said, they just brought him back for fan favorite. So I guess it is what it is. But that pretty much concludes our review here, unless there was something else you wanted to say before we get into our rating section, and then we're going to pop on out of here.
I think we got it.
All right.
We didn't get it all because it's 2.5 hours. But.
Hey, a 33-minute review is all we need.
The cars also just weren't very cool.
No, that was one thing. Like, there wasn't any car that kind of like popped out like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, even in like the Transformer movies, like there was always like that one car where it's like, okay, no, that's sick. You know what I mean?
Usually Bumblebee.
Oh, absolutely. I hope we get another Bumblebee movie soon. We're getting another Transformers with
freaking Tyrese Gibson wants to do a Transformers Fast 9 crossover.
Honestly, they're both Universal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's just make it happen. Like, I'll watch it if Transformers is in it, but it's like, because it just makes sense now because apparently they're invincible.
They're superheroes.
Man, oh man. Someone's like, oh, they made an Invincible reference. I'm like, just the fact that they are invincible or like the show Invincible? Because if it's the show Invincible, I don't know how I feel about that.
The show Invincible didn't create the word invincible.
No, yeah.
It's not an invincible reference.
Well, like someone made it seem that they're like, oh, they said they made a Invincible reference, and it's someone that I know who really loves the show. So I was like, are we already?
I don't think they did.
It is what it is. I don't know. Anyway, let's get into our ratings. Devin, what would you grade Fast 9, the Fast Saga?
Oh boy. I mean, looking at the scale, I kind of have to go F.
Like, oh my God.
We didn't like it.
I was going to give it just a solid D. Like, I can't.
I was going to give it like a 45.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably give it like probably just a solid, probably. Well, anything below 60 would be like an F. Like a 59 would technically be an F, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just do solid 60. Like I said, the only thing I really liked was like, the racing was kind of cool and small little bits here and there, but nothing. No, but Devin just murdered it, gave it an F. I mean, I would never watch this ever again. I will tell you that right now. So this will not be in my Blu-ray collection. So an F from Devin and a D from me. I've been more on the lower scale lately. I'm not going to lie. It's just nothing's really been able to touch in the heights, to be completely honest. So, I mean, July is
until next week.
Until next
or
week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks until. Oh yeah, Black Widow. That's right. Well, check your email, by the way. Supposedly we might be getting them soon. I just haven't seen anything yet from what my sources told me. But yeah, so that pretty much concludes our show today. Everyone, of course, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and review on the Apple Podcast, or if you're on Android, Podchaser. And remember, we are doing our Batman the Animated Series digital code giveaway. Just want to say it is for US and Canada only. Just wanted to kind of put that out there because usually with the digital codes that come with Blu-rays, that's just the way that it works. Again, the winner will be chosen on July 5th. You can follow me over on Music City Nerd to look up my tweet about it. I'll probably end up pinning it on my account here soon, and I'll just kind of wanted to get the word out there. So yeah, make sure to follow it in order to enter. You have to follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. And you have to leave us a 5-star rating and review either on Apple Podcasts if you're an iPhone user, or Podchaser if you are an Android user as well. And you also have to be subscribed to our podcast as well, because I found a nice little website to kind of keep track of everything. So we got our eyes on you. It's all right. But so coming up in the podcast, of course, every single week we're going to be reviewing Loki. Episode 4 is coming out on Wednesday. So we're halfway there. So very, very excited about that. And we also have our Sweet Tooth, our Film Optix series. Kind of to figure out a name for that for the TV stuff. But yeah, so our series or season 1 review of Sweet Tooth will be dropping on Friday for the holiday weekend for Independence Day here in America. But that's pretty much it, man. Let me close this out here. Anything else you wanted to say to our lovely listeners before we go?
Family.
It's all about family, man. Man, oh man. Apparently Vin Diesel did not work out for this role at all. They told him to fix everything in post. That's why he looked so stiff. Half the time he was just in that one position because they had to edit his body. Did you notice that?
I mean, I'm just used to him being stiff.
There you go. There you go.
Sorry, Vin. Don't come after me.
Yeah,
I'm Groot.
It's all right. He's fine. All right, let's get out of here. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, we greatly appreciate it if you can leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X, to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.